Ever felt unusually down during the summer months? Today we're diving deep into a lesser known side of seasonal affective disorder. Stay tuned to discover its surprising connection with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism and what you can do about it.
Welcome to the Hashimoto's Doctor Podcast. You're now part of a growing community of people determined to take their health back through education and self-empowerment. But because of the healthcare system today, we don't have access to the types of healthcare that we want. So we have to do things differently. We've got to do things smarter, and we do that by becoming our own advocates. This podcast will give you the perspective and thoughts of one of the world's leading Hashimoto's doctors. So let's get started.
Hey everybody, Dr. Shook here. I hope you're doing well today. While winter blues are commonly discussed, today we're going to shed light on a topic that's often overlooked, and this is the summer blues. That's right. Let's uncover the mysteries of Summer Seasonal Affective Disorder and its potential ties to thyroid health. Most of us are familiar with winter blues. These are characterized by feelings of sadness and sluggishness, typically thought of as being due to the fact that it's cold outside and there's less sunlight. But summer SAD is different altogether. Instead of wanting to stay inside where it's warm, individuals might feel more agitated, irritable, and even have problems with sleep. But what's causing this? Let's delve into the intricacies of the summer version of seasonal affective disorder. The exact cause of summer seasonal affective disorder is still under research, so we don't know for sure exactly what causes it, but we have some really good ideas. Some of the potential causes range from allergies to genetic components and even changes in light or heat. So you can tell there's a very diverse range of potential causes that are on the research radars. But there's a twist here because there's also a potential link between summer seasonal affective disorder and low thyroid function. And if you think about it, a lot of the symptoms of SAD and Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism are the same. And this is an interesting thing to consider because is it the thyroid that's causing these symptoms, or is it some of these other factors that's driving seasonal affective disorder? And really, either way, by having a better idea of what the triggers and drivers are, you can get closer to identifying the root cause of the problem so that you can actually address the causes rather than just trying to treat the symptoms. While research continues, there are actionable steps to manage summer SAD. First of all, embracing early morning sunlight can help to establish better physiological circadian rhythms. And this is really an important thing to consider because if you're having problems sleeping, if you're having problems with your neurotransmitter and hormonal production, working on getting your daily circadian biological rhythms in sync with the light and dark cycles can be really helpful. We know that this has a very profound impact on our physiology. And so if you want to know more about entraining these circadian rhythms, check out my previous podcast where I go into this in a lot more detail. I talk about this in the podcast on early time restricted feeding, so you can check that out. But you can also do things like making sure that at night when you're sleeping in your bedroom that you have blackout curtains and that you're keeping the room as dark as possible. And then in the evening when the sun is going down, wearing blue blocking glasses can also make a difference by filtering out some of the blue light that you might be getting exposed to from TVs or computer screens or phones. And that can be a really helpful thing to do because if you're getting blue light exposure in the evening, then it's going to suppress your melatonin production. And melatonin is a hormone that is made by your pineal gland that is really critical and important for going to sleep and sleeping through the night. It's an incredible antioxidant. It has a tremendous number of benefits. So by signaling in the morning going outside, getting morning sunlight, that starts the process of suppressing the melatonin and increasing your cortisol. And then that helps you and will help to establish, again, these physiological circadian rhythms. And then if you can limit your blue light exposure before going to bed, and there are other things that you can do to establish better routines, but just in general, to keep this simple, control your light exposure. Get deliberate exposure in the morning and control blue light exposure in the evening that might actually suppress your melatonin production and cause poor sleep, which absolutely feeds into this very significantly. And if you're experiencing symptoms, consider a thyroid level check too, and get some thyroid antibodies evaluated. If you have Hashimoto's, then this is something that you really need to focus on, trying to identify potential drivers and triggers of the process so that you can dampen that autoimmunity and dampen the inflammatory response, because that too can have far-reaching systemic consequences and may be contributing very significantly to some of these symptoms. So those are the primary things that I would recommend that you start with first.
If you found this episode helpful, please share and leave a review. It really helps the podcast. And as always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on YouTube and Facebook at the Office of Dr. Brad Shook. You can join our Facebook group, the Greater Hickory Thyroid Support Group, with over 11,000 members, and you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Brad Shook. And remember, together, we can make a difference.
Remember, understanding your body and its reactions to different seasons is crucial. You're not alone, and there are strategies to help. So stay informed, keep learning, and always prioritize your well-being. Until next time, this is Dr. Shook, wishing you happy days ahead.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed hanging out behind the scenes with Dr. Shook. You can also talk with and learn from Dr. Shook through Facebook Live on our Facebook page at the Office of Dr. Brad Shook. Don't forget, you can also get access to our videos, guidebooks, and thyroid programs at www.drbradshook.com. Oh yeah, and don't forget one more thing. We can change the world one person, one family, and one community at a time. Until next time, remember, today is your day, and no one will tell you who you are and what you can be.